Traditional UDT cast and recovery techniques may still be employed when combat swimmers must place demolitions on man-made or natural obstacles to clear the beach lanes for amphibious landings. Instruction in demolition techniques include classroom work and practical application during intense training exercises. The diving phase, or third phase, develops combat swimmers into combat divers. In the pool, men become familiar with self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, or scuba. The continuing lesson of teamwork is stressed in such exercises as buddy breathing, in which two swimmers alternately breathe from the same scuba. Then in the ocean, they learn compass navigation and conduct increasingly difficult mock attacks on ships. In the Bud's diving tower, they practice submarine lock-in, lock-out procedures. Free and buoyant ascent training develops techniques and builds confidence for conducting submarine operations and responding to diving emergencies.
SEALs are specialists in being where they are least expected. Getting to the job may mean jumping out of a boat, a helicopter, or an airplane.
You have to want this type duty in order to survive this training. Some people, I suppose, want to prove something to themselves. Some people, maybe they want to prove something to somebody else.
I think it's a psychological aspect, the hardship while you're doing all this. In other words, you think about things a little bit differently. You start realizing that probably one of the greatest things you ever had was just sitting in a warm room with a cup of coffee. You just don't know how much you can appreciate something like that. It prepares you well for when you go in combat. You learn that a little rain's not going to hurt you, a little mud's not going to hurt you. You don't like it, but you learn that you can live with it.
Okay, this morning, gentlemen, we're going to take up what was known in the teams as an Emerson scuba rig. This means that it is a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. This rig is used any type of clandestine or sneak attack operations. It is desirable for this use because of the fact that there are no bubbles coming out of this rig when it is submerged. And we can have you step up here, sir. We'll slip you into it.
SEALs must be able to turn off physical discomfort, but their minds must be in top working order. Few jobs in the Navy require more mature judgments to be made almost instantaneously. In a combat zone, these decisions can mean the difference between the success and failure of a mission, between life and death.
Our type of training now, of course, it includes diving and demolition work and parachuting and very extensive weapon training, tactics training, so our people are well qualified, or maybe even the most qualified troop there is.
Stand in the door. What are you? Close it up tight. Close it up tight. Go. Get up and out. Get up and out. Get up and out. Get up and out.
When you put that chute on, your stomach starts getting hard. Your first jump especially. And they say, hook up. Check static line, check your equipment. The word comes to stand on the door, and I was scared.
It was a thrill. It was challenging. It's not everybody that'll get up and jump out of a perfectly good plane. Why, I don't know.
Every SEAL is trained in parachuting. Floating down from the sky is a good way of getting to a patrol area unannounced.
Your other front four.
SEALs learn jump techniques with Army paratroops at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Bullet deep one. He's coming down like a feather. Where is he? All right, get on your feet. Jump on arm 4, prepare for enormous lift to your front. To your front 4. Your other front 4. Drop 4. Jumper on arm 3, prepare for enormous lift to your front.
You get to the door and you leave. It's one motion as opposed to being there for a couple of minutes. You exit, you can feel the chute coming out of the bag off my back, the pack. Then as the prop blast hits the chute, you can really feel the tug. You look up, if your risers aren't crossed. If they're crossed, you've got to uncross them by pulling them apart. The harness, which is uncomfortable, as anything can be when you're wearing it on the ground, is like a chair in the sky, and you just float down.
Check, canopy. Check, canopy. Check, canopy. Check.
Once you leave the door and you're out in the air, then it's the greatest thing in the world, because you know you've done it. You know that you didn't have to be pushed out the door. You did this thing on your own. You're still apprehensive every jump, because those thoughts always run through my mind. What am I doing up in this airplane? Why do I want to jump out of this airplane when I know it's going to land? But then once it's time to hook up and go, then it's just, hell, I love it.
As you approach the ground, normally there's a man in a bullhorn saying, take a prepare to land attitude. Grab your risers, take a slip into the wind so you're trying to stand still. It says, now bend your knees, point your toes, chin up, eyes on the horizon. After your first one, you're ready to jump the next 4.
The SEALs call this halo. High altitude, low opening. For SEALs, a means of silent entry to the enemy's territory. Before deployment to a combat zone, SEAL squads practice together the way it will be over there.
You never say anything on patrol. From the time you leave that boat, or the helicopter, or however you're getting inserted, to the time you get back, you don't even open your mouth. We teach them hand and arm signals in cadre training. It doesn't make any difference what type of signal you do use, as long as everybody knows it.
To bring back information that will help reveal the enemy's story, SEALs must be alert every minute.
An intelligence officer can do so much more with little facts than you have any idea of. If he can find out, for instance, that there is large amounts of rice being moved down a river, then he knows there are either people down there needing food or that there will be people down there soon. When he adds this to other bits of information he's found out, well, a pattern of enemy activity begins to develop.
All the techniques they have learned are brought to bear in this realistic training. As individuals, they learn to function together. They become a team.
Well, there's a certain amount of romance to it, a certain amount of glamour to being a member of what we consider, without question, the best troops that the country has.
I think we're such a highly specialized group of people that we're in great demand. There's just not enough of us to go around. I think our record speaks for itself. 70 or 80 Bronze Stars and numerous Purple Hearts and Silver Stars, a couple of those, and Legion of Merits, and the awards have been just numerous. As far as I'm concerned, each and every one of them are highly deserved, and I think it comes from teamwork, togetherness.
The thing that motivates a lot of people is that, again, it is a challenge to a young man. It is, we feel, and we are proud of the fact that we're one of the most highly trained, efficient, small units that there is in any service. And I think it's the pride factor that motivates kids to volunteer for SEAL-2. It's just knowing that they're going to be in one of the most elite, specialized trained units there is. Now, this is my own personal feeling. That's the reason why I stay in it. I have another 8 years through the Navy, and I'm going to spend it in SEAL-2.
As often as possible, forays on the ground are planned with a look from above. The war in Southeast Asia is an unusual kind of war. There are no front lines here. The elusive enemy can appear as villagers or farmers. To find out what is going on in unfriendly territory, it takes men on the ground.
Okay, men, this is a warning order for tonight's mission. The mission tonight is going to be an ambush.
Careful consideration of every eventuality has led to a specific plan for this patrol. Every phase of the mission has been thought through.
That platoon leader has a tremendous amount of load on his back. A lot of people think, well, the squad leader, he's just a man that gives the orders. But while everybody else is sitting around shooting the bull, and that man's getting the mission order, he's got 4 or 5 hours of work to do. He's got to coordinate everything, his artillery, his airstrikes, what kind of support is he going to have available. He gets it all set up. He works 4 or 5 hours before the people even get the word on it, just on his warning order.
The one primary danger area which we know about is this bridge. You can see what it looks like here. It's just a wooden bridge, hard top. Our actions at this danger area will be as follows.